Welcome back to the Columbus School of Chinese here in Columbus, Ohio, and our show Ask a Chinese Teacher. Today's topic is yet another one of those sticky ones that you'll encounter during your first semester or definitely over the course of your first year of classroom Mandarin. That being the use of negative words. What are negative words? So in English we have words like no, not, anti-something or non-something, things that negate something. So in Chinese we have a handful of these as well. There are two of them that are used most commonly that you'll get pretty early on in your studies. And if you've had some classroom Mandarin, you could probably say off the top of your head which two those are. Those are bu and mei. And it is a very common question for us as Mandarin teachers. When do you use bu versus when do you use mei? So we're going to take a close look at that today. I talked a little bit about this in a previous video. It should be Ask a Chinese Teacher number 31, titled Past, Ongoing, and Future Action. So if you want to know even a little bit more about these after you watch this, go ahead and check that out as well. But by far, what students ask most about is bu versus mei. So that's what we're going to focus on specifically today. So one caveat before we get any farther. For both of these words, they are used in more advanced structures in many different ways. So the guidelines that I talk about here today are not applicable for every situation. They're just applicable for relatively straightforward sentences, things that you're going to want to convey, things that you're practicing and learning how to say relatively early on in Mandarin. So with that, here are the guidelines. You want to use bu when you're talking about general practice. You want to use mei when we're talking about a specific event or a specific occurrence that happened in the past or did not happen in the past. Okay, so think of it as general as opposed to specific in the past. Another way to look at this is think of bu as do not and mei as did not. All right, so let's take a closer look at what I mean by these things. So for bu, I just mentioned, you want to use bu for things describing a general practice. What is a general practice? So it's things like, I don't eat fish. In general, I don't eat fish. Or I don't play basketball. I don't study Japanese. I don't work on the weekends. We're not talking about a specific weekend. We're talking about in general, I do not work weekends. All right, these are general ideas. With mei, however, we are talking about a specific thing that didn't happen at a specific time. So for example, last week I didn't eat fish. Like I didn't eat fish at that one time we went to the seafood restaurant. I didn't eat fish. I didn't drink coffee this morning. I didn't go to work yesterday. We're talking about a specific thing. Yesterday I did not go to work. We're not talking about in general. We're talking about specifically yesterday I didn't go to work. All right, now for some practice. I'm gonna give you 3 English sentences. We're gonna try to figure out if we should use bu or mei in each of them. All right, so let's take a look here. Number 1, she didn't buy the tickets. If you said we should use mei, you are correct. 她没买票. 她没买票. Why? It's not a general practice. She doesn't, on principle, not buy tickets. That's not what we're saying. We're saying a specific time. For example, we must have known she was going to go buy tickets yesterday. However, we're now being informed she did not buy those tickets. She did not buy tickets. This is a specific thing, not in general, on principle, she never buys tickets. Let's look at the second one. I don't listen to rock music. Is this a general practice? Yes, it is. So if you said we should use bu for this sentence, you are correct. 我不听摇滚音乐. Right? I don't listen to rock music in general. This is in general, not a specific time where we did not listen to rock music. Excellent. All right, so moving on to number 3. Number 3 here is purposefully a little bit misleading, but it's a good illustration of where these guidelines can somehow lead you down the wrong path or break down a little bit. So let's take a look. In the past, I didn't like grammar. Do you kind of see where this is tricky? We are talking about the past. However, we aren't talking about a specific occurrence. We are not talking about a specific event. We're saying in general, in the past, during this time period, I did not like grammar. So what should we use here? If you said, 不, you are correct, right? This is a general practice. This is a general principle. In the past, I did not like grammar. 我以前不喜欢语法. In the past, I did not like grammar. All right, so this is when to use 不 and when to use 没 in a nutshell, with the caveat that both of these words are frequently used in more advanced structures for which these guidelines here do not apply. So if you're beginning and you're trying to get these relatively simple, relatively straightforward kind of ideas across, this should help inform which one to use. So with that, I'll go ahead and stop this discussion here today about negative words, and we can always get into more advanced structures later on. If there's a particular more advanced structure you'd like to see, please let me know. I'd be happy to talk it over with you, talk about it in a separate video, talk about it in the comments. And of course, if you found this helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel. We'll be coming out with more and more in these videos. And thank you everybody for watching.